Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 Bridgewater's Finest Movie Awards, brought to you in conjunction with the Resident Movie Lover blog at residentmovielover.blogspot.ca, as well as in conjunction with Library Chess Productions and MediaDetour.com. And it is now time. It is the video that we were so excited for, we had to change clothes. We are in different clothing, and we are rejuvenated. It's the next day, or rather the day after the next day, and we are ready to go here. It's the top 10 best movies of 2014. Here's the mic, and we're about to drop it. Bam! Right on the ground.
Spiked it.
He spiked it on the ground. We threw it on the ground. All right. So it is time to go into our top 10 best movies of 2014. I'm going to start us off here. My number 10 best movie of 2014 is Birdman.
Birdman?
Birdman.
Tell me about Birdman, Justin.
I'll tell you about Birdman. Birdman has an ensemble cast primarily starring Michael Keaton, along with Ed Norton and Emma Stone, and just like really solid actors in the cast.
Watts.
Yeah, exactly. And just across the board, it's a really great cast, and it's the story of Michael Keaton's character, who is a quote-unquote washed-up Hollywood movie star who used to play a superhero in the early 90s or whatever it is, called Birdman. And what he's trying to do is trying to put on a Broadway musical. The whole thing is shot in such a way that it's shot with tricks to make it look like it's a single shot, like all kind of one continuous shot. And it's the story of trying to put this musical together and him kind of going insane. I thought it was just tremendous. The performances are so good. The direction is so good, again, to really make it look like it was all kind of a single shot. And like Michael Keaton, just as I mentioned before, he was an honorable mention for my best actor. He, in particular, really shines here. But watching him and Ed Norton kind of go shot for shot with each other is so good. Because Ed Norton is just, he's almost on that John Goodman National Goddamn Treasure level. For these reasons and more, at a ranking of 85 out of 100, Birdman is my number 10 best movie of 2014.
The only thing I wonder about the nominations, like in it winning, sometimes I wonder if it's a little too quirky to win. Because they kind of have what they want to win, and I feel like Birdman might be that movie that obviously gets nominated for an Oscar.
Right.
If it doesn't, that's a tragedy.
Yeah, God.
But I wonder if it's like that weird pick when you compare it to everything else that will get nominated. But if it wins, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just kind of wonder if maybe it's a little too strange.
Might be one of those movies that like wins a bunch of performance awards, but somehow doesn't win Best Picture.
My number 10 is The Drop.
Nice.
This movie, it's kind of it's about like bars where like gangsters or groups of gangsters, crews, mafias, whatever, they drop off money at these bars, like, and they're randomly picked so people don't know, because otherwise other criminals might hit out the bar money. Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
And they drop it off these bars, and it's called the Drop, and it's just about that. But Tom Hardy plays like he works at the bar, and it's not really that like a shit ton goes on throughout the movie.
Right.
Like there's some twists and turns here and there, but it's just like this like very low key film, and it's wonderful. And it's like I came out of it and I really enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah.
And but then I think about it later, like as the months have gone on since I've seen it, and it's actually even better than I am at, like I first thought, rather. Usually, like, my opinions on movies are like, I come out, and it's like, bam, this is what I think. And I don't really change one way or the other too much. I might rate it a little lower as time goes on when I'm like the high is worn off. But the drop did grow on me more. So that's my number 10 with a rating of 90.
Alright, so my number 9 best movie of 2014 is Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh shit.
Now this is a vampire movie, and please don't turn the video off as soon as I say that. It's a vampire movie starring Tom Hiddleston, Loki, as well as Tilda Swinton. And these two are eternal vampires who have been alive for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years now. And they've been in a relationship and in love for that same amount of time. And it's everything that the Twilight audience from 2008 now should flock to if they're still interested in...
They should grow into it.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Grow into something like Only Lovers Left Alive. Pairing Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton was genius. Like, they're so good individually, and they're so good together. Plus, you've got, like, Mia Wachowski, who I absolutely loved in Stoker, and John Hurt, who plays, strangely enough, Christopher Marlowe, the playwright from the 1600s. The movie is a little bit up its own ass with, like, the science is awesome, religion is bullshit, Christopher Marlowe wrote Shakespeare's plays. Like, it's a little pretentious and a little up its own ass about that, but it just rolls with it. It's like, if we're going to do this, we're going to go all out with it. And they really did. And it's another one of those movies that, like, lives and dies on the performances of the two leads. Hiddleston is great. Swinton is great. They play off of each other phenomenally. At a ranking of 85 out of 100, Only Lovers Left Alive is my number 9 best movie of 2014.
That was on my critiquer since last year. Mm-hmm. That's a cheater. That originally came out last year.
Yeah, I think it got a limited release last year.
And I never got to watch it. Like, I've had it for so long now. Like, Jim Jarmusch, or Mush, or however you pronounce his name, isn't... At the very least, he's an interesting director. Mm-hmm. Like, he has neat ideas.
It was kind of cool through the whole thing, like, watching, like, how a 500-year-old vampire would probably actually act.
Yeah.
Like, not the you know, the sparkly archetype that you would see in Twilight, but, like, just being like, I've been alive for 500 years and I've seen some shit, man. Like, and like Tom Hiddleston's character is so disillusioned with the music industry, except for Jack White. He loves Jack White.
Number 9 with a bullet, rated a 90, is Big Hero 6. I expected to like this because I remember seeing the trailer the first time and going, that looks fun. Like, because animated movies at this point in our life are hit and miss, I think. Because, like, you know, you can appreciate a decent kid-friendly animated movie, but at the same time, you're a 30-year-old man.
It's true.
So it's a little harder to get into those.
The kids look at you and like, what are you doing here?
Well, like, so when an animated movie comes out that kind of, like, can appeal to both. Like, Pixar does that really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to wait till DVD... And then, like, me and you went and saw it, just to see a movie, really. Yeah, I was going to see Big Hero 6. And it was just so funny.
Yeah.
And then when it stopped being funny near the end, it was, like, emotional. It was like...
It's like, wow, it made that transition really
Yeah, it was just this... Like, it doesn't do anything, like, out of the ordinary so much. It's just that the gags work.
Yeah.
Like, all of the gags, they work. They're funny, they're smart, they're good for kids, they're good for adults. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Big Hero 6, my number 9.
Very nice.
2014.
I've almost said 2015 a couple times in the video. Yeah. I might have even said 2015. My number 8 best movie of 2014 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, I've gone on record before. I mean, I don't really have to tell you what the movie is about, do I, at this point, for an MCU film? In any case, it's Captain America. He's bombing around doing shit. There's Hydra a lot. I've been very critical of Captain America as a character because I fall into this trap where I compare him to Iron Man, who has been basically, until Guardians came out, has basically been like the MCU character where I was like, Iron Man is the best character. Like, Iron Man is basically the leader of the Avengers in these movies. So, like, I've been critical. I was critical of the first Captain America movie, which I enjoyed, but I was like, Captain America is such a dork. Like, this is like the character and the movie. It's just like, it was a good movie, but I don't like this character. And I kind of even still feel that. And it's got nothing to do with the way Chris Evans is playing him. It's the character itself. But I really liked this movie. Like, this was such a better Captain America movie than the first one was. And I love watching Scarlett Johansson, just in general. But in this movie especially, I love watching her bring substance. And I said this in an earlier video, bring substance to the Black Widow character, who I think some people might have thought, okay, this is just going to be the girl. It's like the girl in the Avengers, but like she's really bringing a lot of substance to Black Widow, where it may be at the point that Black Widow is like my second favorite character in the Avengers outside of Iron Man. It was a good story, a good lead up to the continuing. Like, one thing that Marvel does so well is they give you a kick-ass movie and then they give you a kick-ass setup to what's going to come next. They're so good at connecting their movies. And again, that was more of the same with this one. And just a great movie. I said in my review, among my favorite MCU films, which it really is. Like, I would put it up there. It's not like it's not Guardians and it's not the first Iron Man. But, like, it's really up there. Again, certainly better than the first one. At a rating of 85 out of 100, Captain America the Winter Soldier is my number 8 best movie of 2014.
It was significantly better than the first. Because the first was, like, kind of painfully average.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to put it, actually.
This was a great movie. I don't like Captain America as a character either. But it's kind of weird when you think about it, because what we hate about pro-American, rah, rah, rah.
Right.
But really, I'm pro any country I have a problem with. Like, when they're all, it's just America gets picked on. Captain America actually kind of represents what should be good about America, because he's very much, like, not anti-government, but like an old American.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not what it's become, where if you got to go along with the government or you're not a patriot. He harkens back more to, like, a patriot were the people who were getting lined up and shot.
Yeah.
Like, back in those days. But so even knowing that, I'm not sure why I don't like Captain America, because I should. Maybe it's because I just don't think the shield is a great weapon. And
again, I should mention, it's got nothing to do with the way Chris Evans is playing him, because Chris Evans is playing Captain America really, really well.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He is. And Chris Evans has a good year.
My number 8 is The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. What I like about it is it seems more mature and darker. Quite a bit different than the first two. But I just enjoy these movies. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They're just... You don't really get better for, like, young adult inspired movies.
No.
Like movies made for teens. And
especially not the ones that have come out in the last couple of years. Why? It was at the point where, like, after Twilight, like, Twilight left such a dirty taste in so many people's mouths. It's just like, YA became a dirty word. Yeah. Right? Like, it's like, oh god, it's YA.
And now it's a good word because we got, like, The Giver. And, you know, we got Hunger
Which people
Games.
seem to hate.
I don't know why.
I don't get it.
It was great.
People are weird.
But yeah, I was so ignorant. And then I was so surprised.
Yeah.
And I've just become, like, a massive fan of the movies, not the books, because really I don't have any interest to go read the books. There's other books I'd rather read.
Yeah,
I'm actually okay with just only knowing the movies, because they do a really good job. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that they brought in Jennifer Lawrence to play the lead. Like, one of the greatest actresses working today. And if she isn't one of the greatest, she's gonna be. So that's my number 8.
Cool. Works for me. And I would recommend this series to anybody. Like, if you can get through the shaky cam of the first one, then you can, which is not a difficult thing to do. But, like, if you can get through that, then it's a series that you're going to find enjoyable, and it's probably the best YA series that has come out since YA kind of became a thing. All right, number 7. My number 7 best movie of 2014 is The Theory of Everything. Now, The Theory of Everything, of course, is the Stephen Hawking biopic starring Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking, as well as Felicity Jones as his wife, Jane. It's such a feat for me when I think about this movie. It's such a feat to portray Stephen Hawking, who obviously has his limitations that everyone knows about, or quote-unquote limitations, that everyone knows about, and it's difficult to kind of do that in a dignified way, because as you see, as the movie progresses, because his disease begins affecting him very quickly. But like, so you know kind of what's going to happen, and you know what's coming. And the movie's good enough that it can even give you like these little flights of hope where it's just like, maybe he's not going to get it. And then he gets it, obviously. It was a very undignified progression for him. For a man that is so dignified and is so intelligent, it was an extremely undignified transition. And to portray that in a respectful way and not make it go over the top and not make it look silly or be comedic, it's a kind of a difficult thing to do with the way that it plays out. And Eddie Redmayne is just like perfect. Like he plays that character so well, and it is done in a subtle way, and it is done respectfully, and like he makes the Stephen Hawking story just jump right out off the page. And Felicity Jones is extremely good as his wife. Matter of fact, looks like her as well. And just, again, another movie that, I hate to keep saying it, but lives and dies on its performances. And the performances are amazing, as is the direction, as I mentioned before, with the honorable mention for Best Director. At a rating of 85 out of 100, The Theory of Everything is my number 7 best movie of 2014.
I haven't seen it. Let's continue on.
All right.
I got nothing to add. My number 7 is... Are you ready?
I'm ready.
X-Men Days of Future Past.
Nice.
Because I love the X-Men movies. I feel like I said this before, but I actually think like the X-Men are more interesting than the Avengers.
Yeah.
I think I said that in a previous video. But it's worth repeating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just... Most of the core X-Men movies have been great. And this is probably the second best one. This is really, really good. And it's just because it does everything that an X-Men movie should. Like compelling relationships between the heroes and villains.
Yeah.
The fact that it added time travel.
Yeah.
And, you know, people always want to sit there and be like talk about wonky science and time travel, and I find it so strange.
It's the X-Men.
Yeah, and I also find it weird because it's like, as far as I know, we're not able to time travel.
Right.
It's like, how would you even know? Like, there's theories, obviously.
There's
like scientific theories.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't like completely butcher the theory of time travel, then I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
And X-Men doesn't do that. But ultimately, yes, it's like a superhero movie. So who cares? You know, we get to see McAvoy and Stewart, like you said in a previous video, together.
Yeah.
And
Charles Xavier at each other.
And Magneto and who actually... Well,
Michael Fassbender and Ian McKellen.
Yeah, Fassbender and McKellen. Like, it's wonderful. I don't know. Great action. Great story.
Yeah.
The X-Men are just... I'm biased because I love the X-Men in general.
Right. Peter Dinklage, right. He's in it, and he's really good. He's arguably the best actor in the movie. Like, Peter Dinklage is great. My number 6 best movie of 2014 is Godzilla. Oh, no.
You've seen a bunch
they
of
say
movies.
He's got to go Godzilla.
A bunch of your movies in your top 10 I haven't actually seen. I never saw Godzilla.
Really?
And I had every intention to.
Well, let me tell you what Godzilla's about. It's about...
Is it like a character study?
This movie caught a lot of flack from a lot of people because
lack of Godzilla.
For a little bit of lack of Godzilla sometimes, and it's a Godzilla movie that focuses somewhat on the human element, and a lot of people didn't like that. I get it, I get that criticism, but you're gonna have to come to terms with the fact that it's a Godzilla movie that kind of took a little bit of agency, which is, again, ridiculous to say about a fucking Godzilla movie, but it took a little bit of agency and focused on the human element. But there were some fairly good characters that were worth kind of paying attention to. Bryan Cranston, for one. Now, sometimes they can be wooden and one-dimensional. Some characters are. That happens in movies. And the movie can be criticized for, at some points, only giving you, brief glimpses of, Godzilla fighting, a Mothra-esque whatever. And so it's guilty of that, too. It's 100% guilty of that. Sometimes it'll only give you, little brief whatevers. But the movie is entertaining as hell. It is just brain candy. This movie is amazing just on that level, and the monster designs are unbelievable, and the CGI is unbelievable. It's Godzilla fighting giant, basically mecha kaiju. The movie's great. I'm sitting here and I'm still geeking out over how just brain candy entertaining it was. At a rating of 85 out of 100, Godzilla is my number 6 best movie of 2014.
If I had known that it was so high on your list, or even on your list, I don't think I ever knew what you thought of Godzilla, really. This one's probably
fucking amazing.
Controversial, I suppose.
Okay.
Number 6 is The Guest. And I only say controversial because I don't really know if you'd see that a lot in people's top 10s or
Maybe not.
I'm in love with that movie, though. I'm in love with everything about it. I know you talked about it earlier, but in case people forgot, it's just basically about an ex-military dude that goes and visits his friend's family, and things aren't what they seem.
Dun, dun, dun. Except they are kind of for a bit.
And then there's always this feeling that
you
know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it has, very 80s influenced. Yeah. Stylish, not to the point of drive. All this stuff I think we've said in the previous video.
Repeat, Dan Stevens is great.
Dan Stevens is great, and the tone shifts. I'm always okay with movies changing tone.
Yep.
As long as it's done well.
Yeah, totally.
And this was done well. It can be a few different genres all in one and not seem... Well, it's a little silly, but it's still
a little
great.
silly's fine.
Yeah.
You can have a little silly.
It's very good. It's a very, very, very good movie. And that is my number 6.
Moving on, folks. It's top 5 time. Here we go. My number 5, best movie of 2014, and this is the one where it gets this is probably controversial.
Shit gets hairy.
My number 5 is Transcendence.
Oh shit, I knew that was coming at some point.
Yep, Transcendence.
That high, though.
I was very, very high on Transcendence. Now, obviously, this is the Johnny Depp sci-fi movie about basically the singularity happens, and his consciousness gets put into a machine, and that machine connects itself to the internet, so it basically goes everywhere. His consciousness goes everywhere. And it's a movie that is not the easiest thing in the world to follow along with. And it's a movie that doesn't necessarily take a stand, which I mentioned in an earlier video, God damn it, I want my movies to take a stand. But this is one that really doesn't take a stand on technology. It's a movie where it leaves you with a lot more questions than answers to those questions, which, when that's done well, it can be really effective. And for me, for Transcendence, it was really effective. I liked Johnny Depp's performance, even though it's basically just Johnny Depp. Which is funny, because this is the most normal performance for Johnny Depp this year. Because you think about it, Into the Woods, he was the fucking big bad wolf. Tusk, he was Guy Lapointe, which is the worst part of that movie. And he's just like, he doesn't do normal roles really anymore. He's just basically like, fuck it, I'm Johnny Depp.
He doesn't do many. What has he done? Like Public Enemies?
Yeah, Public Enemies is like the last normal role really that he did. At a ranking of 85 out of 100, Transcendence is my number 5 best movie of 2014.
Damn, I should have rolled up on some of them movies that, like, I knew Transcendence was on your list. I've never watched it.
Like I say, a lot of people didn't like it.
My number 5. My top 10 is so boring compared to yours. Although this one's a little weird, I guess. Number 5 is 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how many people are...
I don't think many people are going to put 22 Jump on a top 10.
I just think it's funny. I mean, I guess it's going to be kind of a short conversation, but it's funny.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just... that's all my comedy needs. And, of course, the chemistry of Tatum and Hill.
Yeah,
carries the film. I mean, it has to. It's like a buddy cop movie. Their chemistry has to be on point, or the movie fails.
Yeah, right.
And that's my number 5. 5. My number 5 of the year.
Like, I actually don't think I liked it quite as much as I liked 21, but they're probably very close.
I'm not sure. I think they're very close.
Yeah, like I quite enjoyed it, and like we said when we talked about it a little bit earlier, the chemistry, obviously, between, like you said, the chemistry really on point between Hill and Tatum, and this is like their chemistry is so good, and they play off of each other so well that the comedy really
they're meant to be together.
My number 4 best movie of 2014. Hooked on a feeling, do. I'm high on believing. Guardians
Alright, my number
Galaxy.
4. Yeah. Don't gotta say
really
anymore.
all I gotta say.
If you've seen the movie, that's enough to tell you.
Exactly.
Because everyone that's seen the movie has been like, that soundtrack. From now on, this video is just a Guardians of the Galaxy video in which we run down every single joke.
Exactly.
During the movie.
Exactly. So Guardians of the Galaxy is my number 4. And, I mean, like, we've talked a bunch about it already in the video, but, like, it was the movie that probably took me by surprise the most this year at how high quality it was. I'm sitting there the whole movie with just this big shit-eating grin on my face because I'm just like, this is so, like, everything about this is so good. The CGI on Rocket is so good. Groot is so good. Like, Batista looks like he can act. It's like...
Remember the slow motion walk when they're kind of together
and Rocket adjusts himself? Absolutely. Like, and there's so many just little moments of humor in there. Like, dance off, bro. Like, it's everything coming together to not only make a great comic book movie, to not only make a great MCU movie, but just to make a great movie. Yeah. Like, you'll be able to watch Guardians of the Galaxy in 30 years and still say, this is a great movie.
Yeah.
And there are probably there may be few movies on this list, on either of our lists, that you'd be able to do that. Go back to it in 30 years and say, wow, this really holds up as good as it did before. Guardians, if anything, will get better. So at a rating of 85 out of 100, Guardians of the Galaxy is my number 4 best movie of 2014.
This is funny. If your list goes the way I think it does, this is kind of funny.
Okay.
And I'll explain later.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 4 is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
So surprising. Because I never actually saw the last one. Mm-hmm. And I was only going to see this one, well, partially because of you, but the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch a trailer and I'd be like, I'm ready to cry. Yeah. Like, maybe I gotta see this. And then I go and I'm like, I'm pumped and I don't have any experience with like, the last one. There was very few movies this year. Maybe actually no others, now that I think about it, that hit me on an emotional level like that.
Right. Let me ask you one thing about it. With the scene where the ape is riding the horse
with the
machine gun through the fire, when you saw that, what was your reaction to that scene in particular? Do you remember the way that you reacted to that? The only reason I ask is that, like, the big knock against the film from people that didn't like it was like, oh god, that was so cornball, and everything else is supposed to be so serious.
Yeah, maybe a little cornball, but maybe a little awesome. Would it maybe have been better to replace that scene with something else? Yeah, maybe. Right.
How about him just running through the fire?
Yeah.
Just being like, oh!
But I do remember the scene.
Yeah.
But I don't remember having, like, a major issue with it.
Like, I think what it boils down to, at least for me anyways, is like, that's not the stupidest thing I've ever seen in a movie.
No.
Like, if that bothers you so much that, like, oh my god, like, I've seen the shit that I've seen in movies, that doesn't crack the top 50.
Shit. So it's like, okay, so awesome, shitty, awesome, but it's like, you ignore it. If it is bad, you're so invested that you just ignore it.
Yeah.
Because everything else that comes after is awesome.
It's too. Like, it's 5 seconds.
Yeah.
In a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, it gets squashed by, like, everything else. Like,
what'd you give that? Dawn, 90?
90.
90, nice.
I gave it a 90.
Right on. My number 3 best movie of 2014, Everything is Awesome in the Lego Movie. And the Lego Movie struck me as such a brilliant piece of filmmaking. The way that it was constructed, the way that it was animated, the characters that they chose to use, the way those characters acted, just the whole story arc. It even made me think Will Ferrell was competent, which is not the easiest thing.
Rare.
Yeah, it's getting very, very difficult. Everything was awesome in the Lego Movie, and I can't really phrase it too much better than that. At a rating of 85 out of 100, the Lego Movie is my number 3 best movie of 2014.
I got 2 comments. One, that's pretty amazing that one of your favorite movies of the year was very early in the year.
Yeah, it's true.
Been
that was February.
Stone since February.
It's true.
And the other comment, that is way too high on your list.
But yeah, a lot of people are going to be screaming at me that the Lego Movie's higher on my list than Guardians. And next year, I might even scream at me that Lego Movie is higher on my list than Guardians.
There's already movies that, like, I've looked at and I'm like, oh, that should have been higher than that.
It's true.
That's the weird thing with making lists. Number 3 was my number 2.
Number 2.
But now it's my number 3, and it's Calvary.
Nice.
With Brendan Gleeson. About a priest who gets told that he's going to get killed by somebody during a confessional. He's like, I'm going to kill you. Okay. Instead of going to the police, he just kind of walks around town and talks to people, and some people are very critical of him because he's a priest. And, some people are like, you're very holier than thou.
Yeah.
Priest. And just a very human movie, bolstered by my performance of the year, because I gave it to Gleeson.
That's true.
Very interesting. And funny. Very darkly funny. From the opening line, which I mentioned before, it's like, well, I might screw up the line now because I can't remember what year it was, but like, I first tasted semen when I was 7. And it's like, and during a confessional.
What?
And it's like, what? And then the guy goes on to talk about, like, molestation, so it's like a very dark joke.
Right.
But it's funny. Yeah. And there's a bunch of those types of jokes in there. So my number 3 of the year, which I rated a 95, very surprisingly, because, like, I'm cool with certain religious or movies with a premise of religion anyway.
Yeah.
But, like, the idea of, like, a priest being the main character isn't usually that appealing to me.
Right, fair enough.
But, so I kind of held off on this for a few months, and then I finally was like, I should watch this. And then I did, and I'm like, I should have watched this sooner.
I was so disappointed that I didn't get to see that this year. I had it downloaded for months.
Yeah.
I just didn't. And every day that I sat down to be like, I want to watch Calvary, I'll be like, but I can watch, this is quicker. My number 2, best movie of 2014, and we've talked about it at great length. So far today, and so far in these videos, and so far today, is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And again, the movie that hit me...
The movie
that hit me with the most like the most surprising dramatic content where I didn't think that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes would arguably be the best drama of this year, but that's basically what it ended up being, or it's definitely in the conversation. And Andy Serkis, as I mentioned in an earlier video, is nothing short of a genius, and he can make things come alive with these CGI characters, Caesar, and earlier, of course, Gollum in the Rings saga. Like, he can make emotions come alive in these movies that very few, if anybody else, can.
What a lot of people don't seem to realize is there's more than one way to write a movie.
Yeah.
And it seems so weird to say that. But, like, there are the movies that have the really, like, the very realistic dialogue. Mm-hmm. And then there are some movies that have more extravagant, maybe even melodramatic dialogue.
Right.
And both are okay. Mm-hmm. Dawn is kind of the same. It's like it chooses to go on more... Like, it's a big movie about, like... I don't know, basically colonization in a way.
Yeah, it is.
And like it's okay that they talk with like, these big statements and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because
and like a lot of the movie too, a lot of the dialogue is in sign language.
Yeah. Because
that was like the easiest way for the apes to establish language.
And that was cool.
Sign language.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fun little an interesting little quirk. My number 2 best movie of 2014, rated a 90.
My number 2, rated a 95 as well, is Birdman. Although really you could switch Calvary or Birdman.
Right.
Because Calvary kind of hits me a little more on an emotional level, more of like a somber, like when the movie's over, you kind of sit back and you go, like, you know, it kind of hit me a little bit more. Yeah. Not that it was like the saddest movie of the year, like that was Dawn, like I said.
Right.
Dawn was the most emotional movie of the year. But, like, Calvary was a little somber. Birdman was just, like, a showcase in masterful filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's like I appreciate it more on, like, the filmmaking level than I do Calvary. So, I just kind of picked Birdman. Because, well, really it was fresher in my mind.
Right.
And I was in awe of it. And I expected to really like it. I don't even think I expected to like it quite as much as I do. Mm-hmm. I expected, like, a solid 85, 90.
Right.
Sure, like, easily. Try to pick out a flaw. There's always little flaws.
Of course, there's always
little... A line or two here that maybe was not great or not said well.
You didn't want to see Ed Norton's ass.
Yeah. But try to pick out, like,
a fundamental flaw.
A fairly big-ish flaw. Yeah. And it's very, very difficult to do so.
I think so.
But it's like near the end where like Birdman straight comes in, he's walking down the street, and there's like this big beast shows up, and like these things exploding, and it's like, what am I watching? This is amazing.
This guy is going crazy.
It's just great satire. Birdman.
Nice.
Is my number 2.
That's great.
It is.
We're up to our number 1s.
And I don't have a clue.
Really?
I should, but I can't. I didn't put too much thought into it because I didn't want to ruin it for myself.
Understandable.
But I was sold on Dawn. And now I'm not... I know you're going to say it, I'm going to be like...
Curveball.
I forgot.
My number 1 best movie of 2014 could have technically won my best movie in 2013. It is Her. Joaquin Phoenix and ScarJo take you on a weird, awkward, heartbreaking, but also like soul-filling, emotional journey of a lonely dude who finds love with an artificial intelligence, who then subsequently realizes that she/it, whatever, has a lot more to learn about the human condition and the human experience, the experience of being alive. It's a story of love and heartbreak and sentience and humanity and what it is to exist. And it is the movie that hit me the hardest this year, that I thought was the most masterfully done. Spike Jonze can sometimes be inconsistent, but is a borderline
But can
genius.
also be brilliant.
Absolutely, and was at his absolute best in here. Joaquin Phoenix gives such a great performance, and Scarlett Johansson gives such a great performance, despite the fact that she's never actually on screen. But just her voice and the things that she can do with her voice. At a rating of 90 out of 100, Her is my number one best movie of 2014.
You know how you can tell when you really, really like something? You start talking like you're writing poetry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a rule I follow, because sometimes I'll be writing a review and I really, really like something. And I'm writing poetry. Like, I'm not saying it's great, I'm just saying you can tell I'm not talking like I normally would.
Right.
And not that you talk like an idiot usually. Well, you do. Fuck you.
Exactly.
I still don't want to see it, though.
No?
I don't know what it is. And you know what the sad thing is? I bet you I watch it, I bet you it becomes a 90.
Good.
I bet you.
Good, very well.
For some reason. I'm glad you liked it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it had this deep effect.
Just real, yeah, exactly. Just real emotional content from a two-person universe where there's really only one person.
Now, are you slightly surprised with how much you like it, or
Yes.
did you go in expecting?
No,
Yes.
I was very surprised, because while I like Joaquin Phoenix, I didn't love him until this year.
But anyway, enough of your bullshit.
Yep.
Let's get on to my bullshit. My number one.
This is the last number one of the video. The video's almost over, folks.
We officially laid to rest 2013 and 14.
Exactly.
But yeah, we laid to rest 2014 with this pick. My number one favorite movie of 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly. Hooray!
It was known that this would be since August, because that's when it came out.
Yeah.
Or was it late July?
I think it was August.
The moment I saw it in theater, whenever that was, I think it was August. It was known.
It
was
like
written.
done.
It was written. It would have taken something phenomenal. It would have taken a Harmony Korine movie to knock this out at number one.
Right.
And it would have taken a really good Harmony Korine movie.
Right.
It would have taken a Gummo or a Spring Breakers or like maybe a Mr. Lonely. It would have had to been top tier Korine to knock this out. What surprised me most on it was just how funny it was.
Yeah.
Because not only did it become like one of the best action movies of the year, one of the very best superhero movies ever, only beaten, it ties Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I might have said in an earlier video, I'm not sure. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Like, darker superhero movie, I'm going Batman, like the Nolan Batmans.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Dark Knight. And if I went, like, what Marvel tends to do, I'm going Guardians. Like, more lighthearted, funny, but still action-packed movie. Not even sure what else to say, just...
You're hooked on a feeling.
I'm hooked on a feeling. I've seen it 3 times this year.
Yeah.
I don't do that. And yes, after like 3 viewings in 1 year, but the excitement dies down a little bit.
Of course.
You've seen the movie 3 times in 1 year. But the fact that I can do that, like I won't do that with most movies. I don't really want to watch Birdman again. I mean, I would. But from the moment Guardian starts, you're hooked.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, he shows up on this planet. Star-Lord looks cool, like the mask and shit's really cool looking. He's walking through this, like, rainy, I think, planet. And it's like, and then he starts dancing.
Just starts a little dance party.
And it's like, well, what am I watching? This is glorious.
This?
Like, what a classic beginning. And it just keeps getting better, I guess. And
absolutely.
Phenomenal.
I got no hatred for that pick at all. So I guess when we thought about it, when we were thinking about like if we had a consensus top pick based on our ratings, just numerically, it was between either Dawn or Guardians, and I think Guardians edged it out by
because I rated it so highly.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 points or something like that. It edged it out.
I don't want to leave people hanging on this.
No,
I mentioned earlier when you first said Guardians. I think it was like your number 5 or something. 4.
No, sorry, 5. Yeah, no, 4.
You said
4.
Okay.
5 was Transcendence.
You said Guardians, and I was thinking, it's my favorite movie. And then right after, I said Dawn.
Yeah.
I was thinking right after I picked Justin's favorite, not knowing her. So I thought Dawn was your number one. I completely forgot about her.
They skipped back and forth. First it was her, then it was Dawn, then it was her. So, like, they're the only two movies that I ranked a 90 this year. So, like, they were flip-flopping because it kind of depended on my mood. But then, at the end of the day, I was just like, which one struck me more? Yeah. And I guess, like, it was her, but barely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. You have survived the 2014 Bridgewater's Finest Movie Awards, co-starring Tyler from MediaDetour.com. Of course, MediaDetour.com, YouTube.com/LibraryChess for the projects that we'll be working on in the future. YouTube.com/BridgewatersFinest for my channel, the one that you're watching this on right now. As well as resident-movie-lover.blogspot.ca, my movie blog, the resident movie lover himself. That is going to be it for the 2014 Movie Awards. Do you have anything to cap us off on?
No, I'm just sad. Now we gotta wait a year.
I know, now we gotta wait another
to
year.
do this again.
You guys, you don't know how much forethought. Like, we think about this starting in, like, February.
Yeah, and we'll throughout the year, we'll be like, okay, so if we had to do the videos right now, what would be your top 5?
If we're doing it today. But then around, like, August or September or so, it stops. We stop asking that question, because, or at least this was the way it went this year. We stop asking that question because we don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, we want that element of surprise that we get. Like, we didn't know each other's list. So we had an idea. We had gleanings. Like he said, he's like, I thought Dawn was your top, and then we said it at number 2. So it was like, I kind of pulled the rug out from under him.
But my Guardians was obvious to him because
probably,
I bang on that drum ever since I've seen it.
So we like to kind of have that element of surprise in there, and a lot of forethought goes into this, which is kind of why these videos were so long. Like, we were going to do these videos this year for ourselves, and this was a passion project to the nth degree, where we leave so much content in because it's like, these are the conversations that we have just with each other throughout the year. And we were happy this year that we could kind of get together and do this again and bring it to you guys so you could kind of live in our personal movie hell.
Or piece out of the videos.
Or just never click them to begin with. But that is it. That is the 2014 Bridgewater's Finest Movie Awards, in conjunction with the Resident Movie Lover blog, as well as Library Chess Productions and MediaDetour.com. We hope you enjoyed it. If you agree with the picks, great. If you don't agree with the picks, awesome. Want to hear from you in the comment section of all of these videos with what you agree with and what you don't agree with. We want to hear everything that you guys have to say. Thank you very much for joining us this year. We're going to see you again in 2015.
Have a good year.
See ya.
Thank you.